Is there something you've been avoiding saying because it's just more comfortable to not see the result of that conversation? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is airing it out. I've been doing a series of videos. If you go to YouTube, you can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine, but touching on the elemental formula for manifestation. So I started with guts and stoking the fire. Those two videos having to do with the element of fire, having to do with guts, bravery, courage, willingness to jump in. Fire's very brave and loud and licking in the air and doing all these things. And guts can represent Agni or digestive fire, but also stoking the inner fire. I did a video called Take Heart and Breaking Water about agua de vida, the waters of our feeling and the way things feel. And I did a video called Mental, which was the first part of this video, airing it out. The air, the mind. Sometimes there is something we really want to say, or a conversation where clarification would really help. And anytime I want to have a conversation where I want to clarify or I want to come to understand, what I work to do first, and the first thing I want to have at hand, is a willingness to receive any kind of answer. A lot of what can cause us mental disturbance or disturbance in the mind is an unwillingness to accept certain responses or certain, and it's like, well, it's just more comfortable for me to just be in the mystery than it would be to be in the knowing. But I have found the truth to be a tremendous balm, even if it's a punch to the guts. You know what I mean? I've had some truths in the past decade where I've faced intense rejection, you know what I mean? And I've shared myself and shared the truth of my heart, and it's like hand in your heart and somebody just slaps it out of your hand and you're like, oh, awkward. This is uncomfortable. And I don't regret it for a second. I never regret like airing it out. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of ways, if I could comprehensively see all that I am and all that I've been, that I would want to touch base with people and apologize. There are ways that people may perceive me that may be inaccurate, and there are ways that they may perceive me that I might not perceive myself that could be accurate and could be hurtful and not my intent, but doesn't change the fact that if that's what's showing up, then that's not a match to what I want to offer, and I'd rather clean it up. And I also watch ways that Heather Feather, as much as I love the truth, there are many conversations I could have with different people that I love in the river of my life. And I don't have them because it seems to me that it's more comfortable to those entities to keep operating in the same patterns and dynamics we've always been in. And who am I to be such a disruptor on other people's comfort? And I do think the truth is medicinal, even if it stings. The truth shall set you free, they say. And I love freedom. I love knowing I'm free. And love, real love, is unconditional. And there's not a circumstance that it gets withdrawn from any type of XYZ relationship. And so it's like if I have a conversation with an entity, and I believe I'm eternal, I believe they're eternal, I believe all relationships are eternal, and the ultimate result of that conversation is something that hurts me because I'm attached to receiving a specific response, it's possible that it's a grace to me, because Heather Feather wants a life in which the unconditional love that daily this being is striving to show up as, so that authenticity and truth can be present in the field of my life. Authentically, I believe I am love. Authentically, I believe that you are love. And all the stories in between are the stories of separation that we weave into the dream that are causing pain. And we can do it as much as we want. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to weave illusions into a reality of love. I don't need it. Like, the reality of eternal love is the reality I choose to know. And so that means that I get to, as best I can, air out my own mind when it gets stuck and stinking thinking, and it gets stuck in, recrimination and self-flagellation and feeling not enoughness, feeling worthless, whatever it is. I get to be the disruptor, the interrupter to those thoughts that can loop in my head, and I get to air it out and try again. And I was at the mountain today, and I was something I often say as I release all the steam out of my kettle from all the experiences I've had in the past 5 decades that don't serve to get rid of the grief that formed a tumor in my chest over the past several years. And as I release all my emotion, my anger, my sorrow, my pain, often what I say is help. Like, I remember circumstances in my life where what I wanted was help. What I wanted was protection. What I wanted was a sense of safety, and it was not even remotely an opportunity present in the field based on the experiences I was having. Not definitively true. From a broader perspective, I am eternal love, and you can't cut it up and eat it and get rid of it. I'll just keep coming back, However, in the experiences, which were quite dark, I felt I was chewing on the illusion of separation and losing myself. And so sometimes I want to air those thoughts out. So today I was envisioning creating, stars in front of me that say all is well, and creating fireworks on the spiritual level in front of me that say all is well. So that every time I want to say help, before I even go to say it, there is a galactic message present on the board before me, spiritually present, letting me know all is well. The only prayer we actually need, Heather, is thank you. As Muji would say, there's only one thing to pray. It's thank you, thank you, thank you, And so let me shift, let me air out my mind. It's getting stuck in this paradigm with this stinking thinking of all is not well. I need help. I need a helper. I often feel like I need an adult. I need an adult that can explain to me what's going on here that I don't understand socially. Can you explain this? Can you explain this to me? And so it's not just a matter of airing out in here, clearing up in here those thoughts that cause us to stay rooted in fear and allowing false evidence appearing real or fear-based consciousness to sit in our sovereign autonomous temple chair. Sometimes you need to go, oh, I'm sorry, fear. Don't get in my temple chair. You don't belong in there. Bye. Let me air this out. Let me open the doors and the windows of my conscious awareness and air this fear out. Let me get some smoky quartz. Let me Palo Santo myself. Let me lift the mood. Let me use this smoke, which has a seeming substance in the room, but also clarifies. And let me cleanse myself. Let me perhaps use some air element to clear the channel. But let me also air it out, any type of conversation. One of the things plant medicine has taught me, I had a very powerful lesson with San Pedro, is that when you're holding the throat chakra, your Vishuddha, and you're holding in and constipating communication because you're letting fear sit in your temple chair and you're concerned about what will happen down here if you share your truth, you're afraid, you'll be judged, you'll be whatever it is. It's like, first of all, it takes all kinds to make a world, and sometimes the person that you're wanting to speak to is perhaps far more loving and understanding than you might imagine. Things are not always what they seem. And even if they're not, when that person is not being that, they're giving you the opportunity to be the one that's far more loving and understanding than you could ever imagine, and to give yourself some grace in this place when others do not have compassion and understanding to offer. And it can be very helpful to know where you stand, to be clear. I am grateful for every conversation I've had, no matter how difficult it was, no matter how painful I decided to experience the response as due to attachment. I'm grateful. I don't regret a single word that I've spoken as I've worked to articulate my heart and be honest about what's going on with it. Is there something that it would serve you this day to say? Is it possible to accept that you may not know what the answer is going to be? And is there any way that it would serve you to clean up your own stinking thinking and trade a thought, air it out, cleanse what's going on, and choose a new thought that might feel better in your temple chair? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube. I'm Woon.